Well, Stan Abel right in front of us right now, and he and Del Hughes having words. Kenny Monday staying to the side, but making sure that he's a part of this decision.
And Stan Abel obviously does not agree with that call.
And it's 6 points for the Iowa State team. Disqualification is the same as a pin. After that heavyweight match, this one got away from Oklahoma rather quickly. That's a warning against Higgins for keeping a parallel position, and Stan Abel wants an explanation.
I tend to agree with Coach Abel on this from what we've seen so far in the match.
Boy, I'll tell you, those big moves can really turn things around, can't they?
It was an exciting match.
Here come the time of no penalties. There's Stan Abel.
Coach came out and said, what was that for? He wanted to know who was getting penalized or warned for stalling because he held his fist up in the air. The referee said, no, I didn't warn or penalize anybody.
Stan Abel's national championship team was in his first year as a coach. By the time he gets there, he can maybe win the meet for Iowa State, but take away the riding time advantage. Kelly had 2:11 in the first period, the top.
Coach Abel is saying to his boy, don't do it. If you do it again, you're going to get penalized.
28 seconds with a 2-0 lead.
In other words, don't put the legs on.
And here comes Stan Abel. He never lets that kind of thing go very long. He likes to talk to referees about this sort of thing. And Dan Hill says, I'm not going to talk to you.
It's one of those ones where he's going to be questioning judgment. So the official is saying, I don't have to talk to you about judgment.
Dan Hill calls Goree for stalling, and Stan Abel is just beside himself.
I didn't see Coach Abel stand right there talking to Coach Nichols about this is the way it's going to go to determine whether the man on the bottom is continuing to try to effect an escape or reversal. You're allowed to stay with him as long as he's continuing to do that.
It's 10-9. Goree has the riding time, and now Goree lets him go. And it's 10-10. There's Stan Abel, the coach of the Sooners at Oklahoma. Period. We'll see who won the coin toss. Oklahoma had the choice. Goree chooses down. There's the Iowa State coaching staff. Nichols on the left, Les Anderson on the right. Harold Nichols is going to come out and talk to the official. There's something that Goree is doing that he doesn't like. We'll listen in. Here comes Stan Abel, too.
I think he feels that he may be a little bit unnecessarily rough on the edge.
Well, actually, when he posted
I don't think it's necessary.
We've got a 2-point takedown.
Let's go.
That was actually between the two coaches.
Well, this Oklahoma team, as you probably know, is coached by Stan Abel, who is now the winningest Sooner coach in history.
Well, that does say a lot for him. And when you take the Sooner program and the kind of history and tradition they've got, and this man can really recruit. He puts a lot of good athletes out on the mat.
I must say, this is about the quietest I've seen Stan Abel, in a way, against a referee in a couple of years. He's either turned over a new leaf entirely, or he's satisfied with the way Phil Henning is calling this match.
He hasn't been on him very much,
No, he hasn't. That's the Oklahoma staff. Davidson on the left, Abel on the right.
They're telling him, man, get inside. Don't let your elbow hang up high. Get inside.
There's Stan Abel, his coach. He had the feeling that Johnson was really psyching himself up. He didn't like to lose.
Hear the crowd, they're trying to get Neville called for stalling for crawling off the mat.
That's Stan Abel.
He just said, show me something. Get that point.
Regan was not able to penetrate well enough to come through with what's...
on the edge. Next time it's stalling.
But it's Oklahoma tonight. It's the Sooners. And they have a leader in Stan Abel, who's one of the most respected coaches in the game.
Well, he's probably the nation's premier recruiter. Stan has really done a great job of recruiting. This is one of the real good coaches.
Well, we noticed that he's undefeated this year.
Stan Abel, though, happy with the way this match is going, but very concerned at the overall situation with the duel as it stands right now.
See Stan Abel looking on. I'm sure he is a little concerned. Look at him right there. You're down 19-3, and you got a couple of Oklahoma State's top wrestlers ahead. I really got ahead of myself there. I guess I'm getting too caught up in this match. I thought the thing was over.
Hey, when you see 8-7, I don't blame you.
I couldn't believe it. It was an upset to me, even though he's been this close already.
Well, it may still turn out that way.
Well, he got 1 point right there at the end of the period. Now, that's just a situation that Clint Burke just wasn't going to say that he couldn't get out. You see Stan Abel shaking his head, but what happened right there was the referee David Kincaid came over and warned OU's bench. They just got to calm down. They're getting into they're crying and complaining too much, and that was a warning. Now if they do that again, they can lose a team point.
Referee David Kincaid.
One of the things you have to do in a meet with so much electricity like this, you've really got to keep control of the coaches. That keeps the fans from really getting hostile. If you lose control of the coaches, the crowd gets involved.
As you look at Stan Abel there momentarily. Stan Abel, 12 years at the helm of Oklahoma.
And what Coach Abel was asking right there was, he wanted to make sure that John didn't have his hands locked. That's all he was doing, was coming over there and just questioning it from the referee. Got to be one of the most unbelievable finishes I've ever seen in a match.
OSU leads it 15-3. The son of the coach, Darren Abel, for Oklahoma. Boy, Dave, you know what really makes this tough now for the Sooners? Abel has to wrestle against the #1 wrestler in the nation in this weight class, Kenny Monday out of Washington High School in Tulsa.
Iowa State trainer is having him count fingers. You know that routine.
Then I don't like it now. You always hate to see an athlete get injured. You hope that they never happen to anybody, that they're going to be severe. You hope they never happen at all.
Harder down.
Stan Abel.
There's Dan Gable, the Iowa coach. Now we start the third and final period. 2 minutes. The 177-pound title at stake. Schultz leading by 3. Halfway through the final period. And now we've got a whistle and a stalling warning for Schultz. That is not a point for Bannock. That's his first warning. An ensuing warning would mean a point for Bannock.
This will decide the bout. Either way, there's Bannock going. Schultz counters, bringing him back. He's got the takedown and back point. That's the big one for Schultz. He's going to get 3 back points out of that.
A great move, in essence. 5 points total for Schultz. He now leads it by a score of 15-8, and the reign of Ed Bannock is just about over. As the seconds tick down, it is Schultz of Oklahoma defeating Bannock and celebrating with a backflip. And with the riding time advantage tacked on, the extra point there, the final score is Schultz 16 and Bannock 8.
A big win for Mark Schultz. There's a happy young man. Let's take a look at that last throw. It was just beautiful. Bannock was going for the throw. Here he has momentum, but he doesn't clear Schultz through again. Schultz brings him back, gaining control right there, and then goes on to sink a deep half and hold him on his back for 3 points near fall.
Somehow, after 7 minutes of intense competition, Schultz able to pull off a beautiful backflip. And Mark
Schultz, a great win. You did what people said couldn't be done. You upset Ed Bannock, a 2-time champion. Now you've joined the ranks of 2-time champions. What do you think of the bout?
I am so excited. I can't believe it. It's like a dream. I can't even believe it's true.
Did you think both you and your brother could win the championship this year?
I didn't know. I just hope for the best.
Well, a great weekend for the Schultz brothers, but a very frustrating one for the Bannock brothers in Ed Pace's defeat today. We'll be back in Ames.